Hi, this is Mary Lorraine Buckman. This is my book called The Dressing Table. It's a cookbook, but it also has a story involved in it. I think it's a very, very good book. What I'm going to be making today is I'm going to be making my French Brie with my apple topping and puff pastry. I'm going to be making apple turnovers, and right now I'm going to be making apple chicken. So it's very, very fall. It's a very apple-y show. And then, excuse me, and then I'm also going to make the dip that that my family's always gone crazy over, the cheese dip. And I also want to make cheesies. Now, with the apple topping that I'm going to make for my Brie, I've made extra. And that's what I filled my apple turnovers with. And right now, I'm going to show you how to use that to make also apple chicken, because all of my recipes, or chicken and apples, all of my recipes are so versatile. You can mix and match them. You can do a lot with them. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I have here a stick of butter cut up in slices. So I'm going to put about 3 slices in. And then what I'm going to do is I have a cup of flour here. I also put in some salt and pepper as my dredge. But I'm just going to put the chicken in. I don't want it to be too coated. I just want it to be dusted, just a nice dust. Okay, I dusted my chicken breasts and I have browned them. They're golden brown. So I'm going to put them on a clean plate. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my sauce. I'm going to make my sauce. I get this off of the heat so it doesn't get all excited. I'm using the drippings and that I fried the chicken in, or that I sauteed the chicken in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the rest of my butter, because what I'm doing is I'm trying to make a sauce. Okay? I'm also going to add 1 cup of low sodium chicken broth. Then I'm going to add the apples. These are the exact same apples that I did. These are the exact same apples that I've been using. I made my sauce out of the drippings, a cup of low sodium chicken broth, the rest of my butter, and then the apple mixture. And I like it to be well seasoned, so I'm going to put in a little bit more pepper and a little bit more salt. And I have a nice sauce here. Just have all the drippings and everything in it. It's going to be delicious.
Yep.
What I'm going to do now is put the chicken in here, and then I'm going to put this in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. Now this is what it's going to look like. And I'm going to put it in the oven preheated at 350 for 35 to 40 minutes. It should be so golden, just caramelized. It should be so beautiful. It's done. And the apples look gorgeous. They cooked in the apples. And the apples caramelized with all the juices of the chicken and that broth. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this over the chicken. And this is my chicken and apples. And then what I am going to serve this with is I am going to serve this, some juice. Oh, I'll put it all in there. That is my chicken and apples. And what I'm going to serve it with is my classic mashed potatoes that's in my book, and my mom's green beans. And this is dinner tonight. 2 sheets of puff pastry come into a box. So I decided, since I have one rolled out, I'll just go ahead and roll out the other one, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. Now that I have 2 sheets of puff pastry rolled out, The second one that I did, I cut into 4 pieces with the pizza cutter. And I'm going to show you a surprise for this. But this, I'm going to go ahead and put my wheel of Brie cheese on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of my apple filling. And I'm going to put on top of the Brie cheese. And then you kind of want to roll it up kind of like a package. You wanted to roll the Brie cheese and the puff pastry up like a package. And you do want to put it on parchment paper. I have a spoon on the parchment paper because the parchment paper kept flying. We just want to sit it down on the parchment paper, get out the wrinkles. Now what I did, I knew I was going to peel and decor and chop up apples, so I thought of 3 different things I could do with the apples, so I made extra. I completed the Brie cheese with the apple filling. I am making turnovers. Aren't these cute? Little turnovers. I'm going to press them down and make little turnovers. Put an egg wash on the Brie cheese, put an egg wash on the turnovers and bake them. So I have 2. Now an egg wash is you take an egg and you slightly beat it. And then what you do is you just take a pastry brush and you brush the egg over the product, like over the pastry, over a pie, over what have you. If you don't have a brush, you just like use a spoon and kind of like take the spoon and kind of even it out over everything. Because I know a lot of homes don't have a lot of stuff to go. You can use any kind of fruit you want to make the turnovers. If you use peaches or strawberries or raspberries or blueberries, I would suggest you use white sugar instead of brown sugar. But the nuts, the fruit, anything you want to use, same thing for the Brie. If you want to use any kind of fruit for the Brie, that's perfectly fine too. These recipes are just basic guidelines. These recipes are for you to just let your imagination go crazy and insane, and you can do so many things with these recipes in my book, The Dressing Table. And like I said, I have 3 different variations of what I'm doing with basically one recipe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my turnovers and my Brie in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes on 350 until the puff pastry is golden brown. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry, one more thing is you need to put a little bit of water in your egg wash. So it's egg with a little bit of water. I'm sorry, I forgot the water part. But you do have to put a little bit of water or milk in the egg wash. Hi, this is Mary Loren Buckman. I'm continuing with the cheese theme. One of the most requested items that I'm asked to make is my cheese dip. Very, very simple, but oh, it is delicious. This is what I grew up with. My mother made this, and it always hits the spot. You take 1 brick of cream cheese. Now it depends on how many people you're going to feed. Like you can do this, you can triple this, you can quadruple this recipe. However much you want to make, you can make with this recipe. And then this is a medium onion grated. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a mixer, and the cheese is soft, and I'm going to mix it up. I mixed up the cream cheese and the onion and got it to where it's whipped. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of milk. I have 1/4 of a cup of milk here, but I'm just going to add maybe half of it just to see the consistency. You want it to be just a little bit thinned out, but not too much thinned out. Now you can use any kind of onion, a white onion, a sweet onion, anything that you have. I just happen to be using a red onion at that time. So then I just pour it into a serving container. Now, I took the turnovers out of the oven and our Brie. And our Brie looks fantastic. Oh, it's nice and brown on the bottom. Now, the turnovers are done, the Brie's done. The Brie is perfectly brown and crisp underneath. And I just take it and I just put it on my platter. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dip and kind of offset it a little bit, kind of put it on the platter. And then what I'm going to do with these turnovers is I'm just going to put them in the plastic surgeon, into the confectionery sugar, and I'm just going to turn them clean hands. I'm just going to really just rub the sugar on them, and put them on a plate. Now my turnovers are done, my baked cheese brie is done, my onion dip is done. Now the very, very first cheese item that I learned how to make, and I must have been this high when I made it, I called them cheesies. I love these things. Take bread, put on some butter, margarine, if that's what you use. Now you can use any kind of cheese that you want. I mean, I've used Munster, I've used Sharp, I used mozzarella, I've used all kinds of cheeses and any kind of bread. My mother used to do this method with cheddar cheese and English muffins. But I like using the American cheese because I'm going to put these under the broiler and I'll show you why. We're back. I put the bread under the broiler and got it brown. And the neat thing with American cheese, it happens so fast though, that the cheese actually separates and it will like puff up. I thought that was so cool, eating that puffed cheese is so delicious. This is the first thing I ever learned how to make. Like I said, any kind of bread, any kind of cheese. And I love this as a snack to this day. You're out, you have to go somewhere fast. This is the turnovers that we made. This is the chips that I put near the dip. This is the brie. And I'm going to go ahead and open it so you can look at it. This is the brie cheese with the puff pastry. The cheese is all oozy coming out. I enjoy to also use chips with this because it is cheese. It's just running all over my platter. I also like to put Ritz crackers and butter crackers. I also like to put the wheat crackers out. And this is Mary Lorraine Buckman. All these wonderful recipes are in my book, The Dressing Table. Thank you very much. Thank you. Get a copy. It's a really good book. Thank you.